My parents excluded me from Christmas, but sent a $22,000 bill for my sister's godly gift. The festive lights twinkled on every house, illuminating Emily's quiet street like stars fallen from the sky. But instead of joy, her heart felt heavier with each cheerful decoration she passed. My parents are choosing her over me, she thought bitterly. As the ambitious marketing executive scrolled through social media, the contrast was unbearable. Friends posting pictures of happy families wrapped in Christmas warmth only deepened her isolation. This year, the whiplash of betrayal cut deeper. Her sister, Lily, just 16, had received the crown jewel of Christmas gifts, a limited edition designer handbag worth an astonishing $22,000. The price tag felt jagged, slicing through her heart every time she thought about it. It wasn't just the luxury of the gift. It was for her sister's extravagant toy. "We expect you to contribute, Emily. Family means sharing," they'd written, as though it wasn't a slap in the face, but a standard holiday procedure. The audacity stung. She felt like a bloodied warrior in this family duel, and the only casualties were her hopes and heart. Heart-pounding, she tore into the envelope, the weight of the paper feeling ominous. A hidden letter slipped out, fluttering like a captured bird. It caught her eye. The words scribbled frantically. "Remember the promise. Don't let her find out." What promise? Who was her? Suddenly, the world around her felt like a cartoon swirled in manic colors. This letter sparked a fire deep inside her. A budding curiosity mingled with the bitter sting of betrayal. As soft snowflakes began to fall outside, blanketing her once vibrant street, Emily grappled with more than just sadness. She was entwined in a mystery. What could this promise mean? Why was her sister suddenly the golden? Just as she resolved to investigate further, a knock echoed through the silence of her empty home. A surprise visitor? With cautious steps, she approached the door, the weight of the world on her shoulders. When she swung it open, she found an unfamiliar figure, a package cradled in their arms, addressed to her. What could it be? Her pulse quickened. She was on the brink of a discovery that could change everything. Hey, before you continue with this incredible story, I have an important warning for you. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube has removed their subscriptions without warning. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And while you're at it, leave a like to help me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation. The tall stranger held a neatly wrapped package, silver paper shimmering even in the dim light of her porch. Hi, she managed, voice shaky. "Delivery for you," the stranger said, face obscured by a hoodie. "Sign here." She took the clipboard, feeling the rough surface beneath her fingers. What could it be? Her pulse raced with anticipation and dread. After signing, she ripped the package open, revealing a delicate box with a velvet lining. Nestled inside was a beautiful locket. It glinted with a soft glow, and as she turned it over, her breath caught in her throat. A photo nestled within the locket. At first glance, it looked like a blurry image. Then it focused. It was a picture of her mother, young and radiant, holding a baby. But the baby wasn't Lily or Emily. It was someone else entirely. A girl with familiar features but a different hue of hair. A brightness that felt like an... Stunned, Emily fumbled to pull out the note that had slipped from the box. Her fingers trembled, the paper feeling warm against her skin. It was brief. Find the truth. She's been waiting for you. Who? What does this mean? Her voice cracked, echoing against the quiet street. The air felt electric, laced with a chill that seeped into her bones. Suddenly, the door behind her creaked open. Her parents stepped out, startled expressions on their faces as they took in the scene. "Emily, what's going on?" Her mother's voice was high, unnaturally tense. "I got this," she said, lifting the locket, "and this note. What do you know about this girl?" The accusation burned in her voice like acid as she pointed at the photo. Her parents exchanged glances, fear flashing momentarily across their faces before her father stepped forward. "You shouldn't have opened that," he said, voice low. "Why not? Who is she?" Emily demanded, heart racing. "Emily, it's complicated," her mother said softly, hands wringing together. "Complicated? This is a stranger in our family. I want to know." The muscles in her arms tightened, anger and fear fighting for dominance. Then her father spoke, his voice unsteady, as if confessing to something he had buried for years. "You have a sister. Another. She was given up for adoption," her mother whispered. "We thought it was best at the time, long time ago." "But why?" Emily asked, each word a struggle, like pieces of shattered glass in her mouth. "You told me it was always just us. Why didn't you tell me?" Her parents shifted, the silence thick and suffocating. The laughter of the festive crowd outside seemed distant now, like a muted echo of a world that didn't understand the storm brewing on this silent porch. Then her mother stepped closer, desperation clawing at her expression. "We thought you were too young, but now you're older, and we thought..." "Thought what?" Emily felt rage boil inside her. "That I'd just accept this?" Suddenly, everything around her blurred. The twinkling lights, the joyous laughter. None of it mattered now. Was Lily really the golden child? Or was there another secret, deeper than familial love, that made Emily feel like half a stranger in her own home? The tension crackled in the air as she was left standing on the brink of a revelation that could change everything. Who was this sister waiting out there? And what did it mean for the family she had known? Emily stared at her parents, words swirling in her mind, like leaves in a storm. A sister I never knew about? The weight of the revelation pressed down on her, every breath feeling labored. Her heart raced and her hands trembled. A million questions flooded her head. "Why?" she rasped, her voice quivering with the sheer magnitude of the unknown, barely able to form the word. "Why keep this from me?" "Because we were afraid," her mother finally uttered, voice barely above a whisper. We thought you couldn't handle the truth." As the silence stretched, the air between them brimmed with unsaid words. But something more unsettling lingered in the background. A tension that felt like the walls were closing in. "Handle the truth?" Emily shot back, her voice rising. "What truth? That I had a sister out there? Or that my family is built on secrets?" The shadow of doubt flickered in her parents' eyes, and in a heartbeat, the atmosphere shifted. Suddenly, her father stepped back, as if recoiling from a physical blow. We have to tell you everything." "Everything?" she echoed, the chill of dread creeping up her spine. "What's left to say? Your sister, she's not just another sibling." Her mother's words quivered. "Her name is Emma, and she's in trouble." A knock at the door interrupted their tense standoff. It echoed sharply against the night. Emily jerked her head toward the sound, suspicion bubbling in her gut. "Who is it now?" "Wait here," her father commanded, but the urgency in his voice felt wrong, as if they were hiding something deeper. Against her better judgment, Emily's curiosity pulled her toward the door. She opened it to reveal a police officer standing on the porch, his uniform crisp against the festive backdrop. "Are you Emily?" he asked, his tone serious. "Yeah, I am. What's going on?" His eyes were serious, the kind that reflected the weight of bad news. "I need to speak with you. It's about your sister, Emma." "Emma? What about her?" Panic gripped Emily, twisting her stomach in knots. "She's been in an accident." The words fell from his mouth like stones, heavy and burdensome. Emily felt a surge of disbelief. No! This was impossible. They hadn't even told her about Emma. How could anything happen to someone she didn't know existed? "She's currently in the hospital. Your parents should come with me. But we need to make sure you're okay first." The room spun. A flood of emotions surged through her, crashing like waves against a weak shoreline. Confusion swirled in her mind, drowning out any coherence. "No!" She shook her head violently. "She's my sister! Take me with you!" Emily's voice quaked with desperation. The walls of her world felt like they were crumbling. Her family's secrets, the painful gift of betrayal, now wrapped in a shocking new layer marked with fear and urgency. The officer hesitating longer than comfort allowed. "I'm sorry, but it's not safe. There are things you don't know about your sister, about this whole situation." Emily's heart thundered in her chest. "What do you mean, not safe? What is going on?" Before he could answer, her mother rushed past her, grabbing the officer's arm. "Please, tell me she's okay. We can't lose her, not after everything." Emily froze at her mother's words. "Lose her? What are you talking about?" A shiver ran down her spine as the words echoed in her mind. Had her family been so shrouded in lies that they didn't even know how to tell her the truth? Was Emma the reason they'd turned their back on her? Suddenly, another knock sounded from behind her, firm and urgent. It made her jump. With a sense of dread, she turned back to face the door. Something deep within her screamed that whatever was waiting outside held the power to unravel everything once more. "Who else is there?" she whispered, eyes darting as the shadow of a figure loomed behind the doorframe. When she opened the door, her heart dropped. There stood Emma, disheveled, her eyes wild with fear, and a deep bruise forming on her cheek. She looked straight at Emily, breath hitching in her throat. "Help me!" Emma gasped before collapsing into Emily's arms. Everything around them faded away, leaving only the weight of that one desperate plea hanging thick in the icy air. How did everything spiral into chaos so fast? Who was this girl really? Emily felt the ground shift beneath her. The truth was clawing its way up, and she was already in too deep to turn back now. But what else lay hidden beneath the surface of their entangled lives? Emily caught Emma as she collapsed, her heart jolting. "What happened? Are you okay?" Panic swept through her as she knelt on the cold ground. She felt Emma's body trembling and could see pain etched across her face. I was with him," Emma gasped, her words coming out in shallow breaths. "I didn't know. He wouldn't let me go." "Who?" Emily asked, a knot tightening in her stomach. "Who wouldn't let you go?" But before Emma could answer, their parents rushed outside, faces pale, worry etched deeply in their features. "What is going on?" her mother cried, eyes darting from Emily to Emma. The police officer stepped forward, urgency in his tone. "I need to get these girls to safety." "There's more to this situation than they realize." "Safety?" Emily echoed, her voice sharp. "What are you talking about? Who are you protecting us from?" "From him," the officer replied gravely. "The man who's been looking for Emma." "Looking for me?" Emma repeated, panic creeping into her voice. "Why?" Suddenly, another figure appeared at the edge of the driveway. A man, tall and imposing, with eyes that burned with intensity. He seemed to materialize from thin air. A shadow creeping against the festive lights. "Emma!" he shouted, anger slicing through the crisp winter air. "You can't run away from me." "Stay back!" the officer warned, stepping in front of the girls. "You need to leave now." Fear gripped Emily. Who was this man? What did he want with her sister? The sight of him sent chills down her spine. She felt Emma's grip tighten on her arm. "Emma!" he shouted again, closer now, his voice seething with both urgency and menace. "You're mine! You can't escape what's meant to be!" "Get away from her!" Emily yelled, stepping in front of Emma protectively. "Stop!" the officer barked. Tension crackling in the air. "Get back to your car!" The man hesitated, his gaze flickering with something like uncertainty, but rage quickly returned. "You think you can protect her? You have no idea what she is!" "What are you talking about?" Emily shouted, confusion swirling in her mind. "What does that mean?" And then it hit her, a wave of realization crashing through her. This man felt tied to the secrets her parents had buried. A truth that felt so close now, slipping just out of reach. Emma shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You don't understand. I didn't tell you everything. I thought it was..." But suddenly there was a crack in the air, a piercing sound that stopped time. A gunshot. Emily's heart dropped into her stomach. She turned toward the sound and saw the man stagger, shock etched across his face as he looked down at the blood blossoming on his shirt. "Run!" the officer yelled, pushing Emily and Emma away. The festive lights weren't so bright now. They felt like a haze around them, the laughter of the street fading away into a nightmare. "Why?" Emma gasped, her breath hitching. "Why would he do that?" "Because he's connected to you," the officer shouted, urgency flooding his voice. "You're in danger! We need to get you to somewhere safe." Emily's mind raced. Connections and truths were unraveling like a fraying rope, with every second stretching out the gravity of the moment. She looked at Emma, whose eyes were wide with fear and confusion. The world spun, the festive chaos feeling like a memory slipping away. "What did he mean, Emma?" "Ha ha!" Emily asked, heart racing. "What are you?" But before Emma could respond, another noise rang through the night, drowning everything out. A siren in the distance, closing in fast. Emily felt a surge of determination. No more lies. "Tell me, now!" As the siren wailed and the night continued to close in, Emily's heart raced, not just with fear, but a growing rage to uncover the truth. The family she thought she knew felt like a facade, cracked and fading. And just like that, everything felt different. What kind of sister was she really? What circumstances brought this chaos to her door? As they started to flee, Emily knew one thing. The secrets weren't done yet. They were just beginning to unfold. What else lay hidden in the shadows of her family? Emily's heart raced as sirens blared in the distance. Time felt warped, as if everything was moving in slow motion while the chaos swirled around them. Emma clung to her, trembling. Emily could feel the weight of fear and confusion thick in the air. The looming figure of the man sent a shiver down her spine, his presence chilling the warmth of Christmas night. "Please, not now," she whispered, trying to push the panic aside. The officer stepped closer, positioning himself between them and the man. "You need to go. He's dangerous." "Run!" shouted Emily, tugging Emma along as they stumbled away. But Emma stumbled, a shadow passing over her face. Emily turned, her heart dropping as she saw the man lurch forward, the grip of desperation in his eyes overpowering even the fear. "Emma, don't you see? You belong with me. This is your life." "What does that mean?" Emily shouted back. "Please, just tell us." But Emma's face turned pale in the streetlight, her eyes wide with realization and horror. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out, echoing like thunder in the night. The officer's voice was drowned by the explosion, and Emily's stomach dropped as she turned to find him frozen, shock etched on his face. Emma gasped, stepping forward, but the man staggered back, blood blossoming from his side. The world around them spun in chaos. "Emma, help me!" he choked out, desperation clawing at his voice. Emily felt a rage surge through her veins. Who was he? What did he want? "No!" Emma cried, her eyes brimming with tears. "You can't die!" "You can't leave me." "Leave? I'm not leaving you. I'm protecting you, he gasped, pain distorting his face. Protecting? Emily shouted. From what? Who are you? Emma looked from Emily to the man, torn apart. He's my father. The world dropped. Emily's breath caught in her throat. What? Her voice was barely a whisper, the revelation clawing at her mind. What do you mean? But you were... The man forced words through pain. His eyes locked on Emma with a mixture of love and urgency. You were taken for a reason. They thought you would be safe. I thought you would be safe. But I've been searching. I need you back with me. You don't understand. What have you done? Emma whispered, horror creeping into her expression. You were supposed to protect me, but I didn't know, he pleaded, his voice a rasp as he struggled to keep his balance. They were going to use you as leverage. I had to keep you hidden. The crowd gathered around, whispers filling the air as people stared with wide eyes. Emily felt sick. What do you mean, leverage? From who? From your mother. She made a choice, the man gasped, leaning against the porch railing, blood pooling beneath him. And it's not just about your sister. They want you both. Emily felt her world tilting again, everything crashing around her like glass shattering in the wind. The truth twisted into a storm of confusion. Who brought this all on? She could barely think, the weight of his words suffocating. But before he could speak, the sirens approached. Red lights flashing like angry stars. The officer reached for his radio, urgency pouring from him. We need backup! We have a situation here. This isn't over, Emma, the man shouted, voice rising as he crumpled to the ground. They'll come for you. The world felt like it was fracturing, exploding in uncertainty. Emily grabbed Emma's hand, eyes widening. What do we do? But it was too late. The twist of fate had already begun to unravel. Everything she thought was true shattered like glass around them, revealing darkness where family ties were supposed to be. Run! Emily shouted as panic surged within her. What did it mean? Who were they really? And as they dashed into the night, the burden of secrets loomed larger than ever. Would they be able to outrun the truth? Emily's heart thundered. The reality of what was lost seemed to pulse in her chest, heavy and suffocating. What if this is just the beginning? She worried, breathless, with stakes now higher than ever. Questions ran wild in her mind. Who were they really running from? Emily's heart raced as she pulled Emma along, breathless and desperate. They found a darkened alley, the shadows swallowing them whole. The chaotic scene behind them faded slightly, but their fear only intensified. The sirens blared closer, and shadows loomed with danger. What do we do? Emily whispered, her voice trembling. She glanced back, breath hitching at the sight of the officer wrestling with the man on the ground. The pooling blood glimmered ominously under the lights. We need to find a place to hide, Emma gasped, her eyes darting around as if searching for an escape. He'll come for me. Who? Emily demanded, frustration bubbling inside her. Who is he? But before Emma could answer, the sound of footsteps echoed from the mouth of the alley. They huddled closer together, instinct screaming. Emily pressed her back against the rough brick, the chill of it biting into her skin. "Is it him?" she whispered, her breath coming out in quick bursts. "I don't know. I can't." Emma's voice faltered, her panic palpable. Suddenly, out of the shadows emerged a figure, tall, imposing, with a familiar stature that made Emily's heart drop. It was their father. The relief was fleeting, replaced by dread when she caught sight of his face. He was pale, sweat lining his brow, eyes wide with fear and urgency. "Emily! Emma!" he shouted, the desperation in his voice slicing through the night. "You can't be here. We need to go now. What is going on?" Emily's voice was sharp, holding on to the flicker of hope that had sparked in her heart. Her father had come for them. They would be safe. "Who was that man? And why were you hiding things from us?" "No time!" he barked, reaching for them. "You don't understand. He's not who you think he is." But Emily didn't have time for evasions. "What do you mean?" she cried, fear fraying her nerves. Then it hit her. "Is he our father?" She felt her world begin to tilt again. "No!" He shook his head violently. "He's dangerous. He's not your father. He just claims to be. I couldn't risk losing you both. Not again." "What do you mean, again?" Emma's voice cracked, confusion and disbelief battling in her expressions. "What do you know?" Before anyone could respond, another figure slipped into the alley. This time, it was their mother, gasp-filled and breathless. "Jason, we're running out of time!" she shouted. "We must get them away from here, now!" The air shifted, heavy with silence as the truth hung thick. "Mom?" Emily's voice was strained, reasons crashing through her mind like waves. "What is happening? Why didn't you just tell us the truth?" "Because it would change everything." Her mother's eyes darted between them, glancing nervously toward where the chaos was still unfolding. "You're both more important than you know!" An echoing shout rang out from the street, and the noise was quickly followed by two figures appearing behind their parents. Emily's heart sank deeper when she recognized them. Chief among them was her biological father. Only he wasn't just an estranged figure in the shadows. He was the police officer who had just been trying to protect them minutes before. "Let them go," he commanded, the weight of authority in his presence. "This is all my fault." Emily felt the words thud in her chest, the cracks in her understanding threatening to split her apart. "What do you mean, your fault?" she whispered, horror creeping in. "You're the one who's been chasing us." The man stepped forward, his expression fraught with sorrow. "No, I was trying to protect you both from him. Jason is not who he claims to be." Emily felt the world spin, her senses blurring. What were they revealing? "Then who are you?" Emma's voice broke into the tension, tears pooling in her eyes. "What does this all mean?" Their father turned away, eyes shining. "It means you both need to know the truth before it's too late." Before she could ask what he meant, the ground shook underfoot with the urgency of unknown danger. A siren blared loudly once more, scrambling her nerves. Footsteps thundered closer, a frantic rush echoing through the alley. "Run!" he shouted. "We We need to go now! But before they could move, a loud crash erupted, sending everyone reeling. The entrance of the alley exploded with blinding light as vehicles screeched to a halt, swarmed by chaos. Everything she believed shattered like glass around them. And in that moment, as the lights flickered and silhouettes gathered, Emily realized that the truth wasn't just hidden in family secrets. It was being pursued, desperate and dangerous, ready to erupt into their lives with violence they never anticipated. With dark figures approaching, the truth loomed larger than fear. Who were they really running from? And would they ever be free from the ties that bound them in a way they never understood? Emily's heart raced as she pulled. They found a darkened alley, the shadows swallowing them whole. The chaotic scene behind them faded slightly. But their fear only intensified. The sirens blared closer, and shadows loomed with danger. "What do we do?" Emily whispered, her voice trembling. She glanced back, breath hitching at the sight of the officer wrestling with the man on the ground. The pooling blood glimmered ominously under the lights. "We need to find a place to hide," Emma gasped, her eyes darting around as if searching for an escape. "He'll come for me!" "Who?" Emily demanded, frustration bubbling inside her. "Who is he?" But before Emma could answer, the sound of footsteps echoed from the mouth of the alley. They huddled closer together, instincts screaming. Emily pressed her back against the rough brick, the chill of it biting into her skin. "Is it him?" she whispered, her breath coming out in quick bursts. "I don't know," Emma's voice faltered, panic palpable. Suddenly, out of the shadows emerged a figure, tall, imposing, with a familiar stature that made Emily's heart drop. It was their father. The relief was fleeting, replaced by dread when she caught sight of his face. He was pale, sweat lining his brow, eyes wide with fear and urgency. "Emily! Emma!" he shouted, the desperation in his voice slicing through the night. "You can't be here! We need to go! Now!" "What is going on?" Emily's voice was sharp, holding on to the flicker of hope that had sparked in her heart. Her father had come for them. They would be safe. "Who was that man? And why were you hiding things from us?" "No time!" he barked, reaching for them. "You don't understand. He's not who you think he is." But Emily didn't have time for evasions. "What do you mean?" she cried, fear fraying her nerves. Then it hit her. "Is he our father?" She felt her world begin to tilt again. "No!" He shook his head violently. "He's dangerous. He's not your father. He just claims to be. I couldn't risk losing you both. Not again." "What do you mean again?" Emma's voice cracked, confusion and disbelief battling in her expressions. "Why, you know." Before anyone could respond, another figure slipped into the alley. This time it was their mother, gasp-filled and breathless. "Jason, we're running out of time," she shouted. "We must get them away from here, now." The air shifted, heavy with silence, as the truth hung thick. "Mom?" Emily's voice was strained, reasons crashing through her mind like waves. "What is happening? Why didn't you just tell us the truth?" "Because it would change everything." Her mother's eyes darted between them. glancing nervously toward where the chaos was still unfolding. "You're both more important than you know!" An echoing shout rang out from the street, and the noise was quickly followed by two figures appearing behind their parents. Emily's heart sank deeper when she recognized them. Chief among them was her biological father. Only he wasn't just an estranged figure in the shadows. He was the police officer who had just been trying to protect them minutes before. "Let them go!" he commanded, the weight of authority in his presence. "This is all my fault." Emily felt the words thud in her chest, the cracks in her understanding threatening to split her apart. "What do you mean, your fault?" she whispered. "Horror creeping in. You're the one who's been chasing us." The man stepped forward, his expression fraught with sorrow. "No, I was trying to protect you both from him. Jason is not who he claims to be." Emily felt the world spin, her senses blurring. What were they revealing? "Then who are you?" Emma's voice broke into the tension, tears pooling in her eyes. "What does this all mean?" Their father turned away, eyes shining. "It means you both need to know the truth before it's too late." Before she could ask what he meant, the ground shook underfoot with the urgency of unknown danger. A siren blared loudly once more, scrambling her nerves. Footsteps thundered closer, a frantic rush echoing through the alley. "Run!" he shouted. "We need to go now!" But before they could move, a loud crash erupted, sending everyone reeling. The entrance of the alley exploded with blinding light as vehicles screeched to a halt. Swarmed by chaos, everything she believed shattered like glass around them. And in that moment, as the lights flickered and silhouettes gathered, Emily realized that the truth wasn't just hidden in family secrets. It was a living, breathing entity that wanted them back, desperate and dangerous, ready to erupt into their lives with violence they never anticipated. But it was too late for running. Among the chaos, a voice rang out, piercing through the confusion. "Stop! Everyone stand down!" A woman emerged, pushing her way through the crowd. Her presence commanding. She wore a badge, authority etched onto her face, that felt both familiar and unsettling. As she stepped into the light, "Mom?" The word escaped Emily's lips, disbelief contorting her features. "Is that you?" The woman turned, a flicker of recognition in her eyes before they hardened. "You shouldn't be here," she barked, her voice suddenly cold, sharp. "It's not safe." "Not safe? You're my mother!" Emma shouted, her voice cracking. "Why are you pretending to be someone you're not?" But their mother didn't reply. Her gaze shifted from them to a lurking figure behind her, eyes narrowing in fear. "You don't know him like I do. He will stop at nothing. You need to listen to me." "What are you talking about?" Emily pressed, confusion boiling into a storm of rage. "How can you act like you know me when you've kept us in the dark?" "Because the truth is," their mother's voice froze, an internal battle raging in her eyes, "you're not just my daughters. You two were chosen for something far greater and something more dangerous." Emily's heart dropped, a heavy weight settling in her stomach. "Chosen? For what?" And as the chaos swirled around them, she sensed the devastation that lay behind that word. It was a truth that could destroy every last thread of their fragile family. What could possibly be more important than their safety? In that moment, time felt still. And as the realization dawned, everything Emily thought she knew about her family, a tapestry of lies woven over years, began to unravel. What if their past was more entwined with danger than they could ever comprehend? As Emma grasped her hand tighter, uncertainty gripped Emily. What lay ahead? And what was the real reason they were all here, standing on the brink of chaos? Emily felt her heart quicken, an electric tension crackling in the air. The chaos swirled around them, and her mother's tone sent a shiver down her spine. They were standing at the edge of a storm that threatened to swallow them whole. "You need to listen," she insisted, glancing nervously at the encroaching shadows. "Listen to what? You're not telling us anything," Emily pressed, feeling the burn of urgency. Emma's grip tightened, her knuckles turning white. Just then the officer, a man she thought could keep them safe, stepped closer. "Listen to your mother. You don't know what you're dealing with." But before another word could escape, a loud crack split the night. It came from behind their parents. A sudden explosion that sent everyone reeling. Smoke billowed across the alley, sharp and acrid. Emily's instincts kicked in. "Get down!" she yelled, instinctively pulling Emma with her. "Get back!" the officer shouted, scrambling for his radio. The scene erupted into chaos as voices rose, panic coursing through the gathered crowd. In the midst of the confusion, a blinding light pierced through the smoke, and then silence. Everything stopped. The world held its breath. Then, from within the haze, a figure emerged. Tall, draped in shadows, his presence felt like cold steel. Emily squinted, dread pooling in her stomach as she recognized him. The man they had thought was after Emma, but this time he wasn't alone. "Let her go!" he bellowed, voice low and furious. He stepped forward, pulling another figure along with him. A little girl, no older than 7. The child's eyes were wide with fear. "Is she—" Emma's voice broke, horror crashing over her face. "Yes," their mother gasped, revelation dawning with unsettling clarity. "That's your sister! Your real sister!" Time froze. The world spun. Emily's mind reeled. "What? No, that can't be true!" She looked at Emma, shock etched on both their faces. The man's grip tightened on the child's shoulder. "I found her. I was trying to protect her. She belongs with us." Protect her. Emily felt the words slice through her. "No, you can't just take her. She belongs to our family, my family." "Your family?" He laughed, a harsh sound, sending chills up her spine. "You have no idea what family really is." Emma stepped forward, her voice trembling. "What do you mean? Who are you?" From the corner of Emily's eye, she saw their father take a step back, his face pale as a ghost. The weight of everything he hid pressed down on her. "Family is sacred," the man continued, fury lacing his tone. "She was taken from us, and now it's time to take back what's ours." Another voice cut through the tension, sharp and commanding. Enough! The woman's voice brought silence. She stepped forward, revealing herself as Emily and Emma's mother, but different. It seemed like the confident leader they needed, not the woman consumed by guilt. "Jason, you don't know what you're doing," she said, her gaze steady. "You're putting everyone in danger." But the man didn't falter. He moved closer, pulling the girl protectively against him. "I won't let you take her back. She deserves to know her real family." Real family! Their mother's voice was filled with desperation. "Do you even know what you're risking? The truth changes everything." Then, in a stunning twist, the girl turned her gaze up at the man. "Daddy, I don't want to leave Emma and Emily." Emily felt her heart drop. It was like the ground fell away beneath her. "What?" She looked to Emma, who stood frozen in disbelief, eyes wide. "What do you mean?" Emma whispered, a tremor in her voice. The tension in the air thickened with dread. The little girl's wide eyes darted between them. "Mommy said I have sisters. Are you them?" Emily felt breathless. Shattering secrets swirl around them like autumn leaves caught in a storm. Everything she believed, built on assumptions and lies, crumbled away. "Wait," she whispered. "Are you saying, are we sisters?" Suddenly, the night felt colder, darker, with a truth that could freeze them all. What else lay behind this revelation? And as the chaos shifted, a deeper mystery began to unfurl. Where would the truth lead them next? Emily felt her breath hitch. The words hung in the air like a storm cloud, dark and heavy. The little girl clung to the man, eyes wide and innocent. "Are you my sisters?" The question echoed in the alley, amplifying the tension. "What?" Emily gasped, her chest tightening as dread pooled in her stomach. "What do you mean?" Emma looked stricken, her voice trembling as she whispered, "This can't be happening. How can you be our sister?" "Because," the little girl stared up at them, her face both familiar and foreign. "Mommy said I had 2 sisters, and she was keeping me safe until it was time." The words cut through the chaos, slashing Emily's heart wide open. "Keeping you safe?" She turned to her parents, confusion turning into anger. "What is this?" But before they could respond, the man tightened his grip on the girl, and fear dripped from his words. You see why this can't stay hidden? They don't want you to know the truth." "Truth?" Emily's voice rose, panic coursing through her. "What truth? Who are you really?" Then everything fell apart. From the shadows, another figure emerged, an older woman with a stern face. "Stop this! You're all playing with fire!" "What? Who are you?" Emily spluttered, feelings swirling chaotically. The woman stepped close, eyes glinting. "You won't understand now, but you're all in danger. The past is coming for you." "Danger?" Emma echoed, fear etched on her face. "What do you mean?" But the woman wasn't looking at them. Her focus was a distant point, where the cacophony of footsteps and shouts began to swell again. The night quivered with adrenaline. Suddenly, there was a loud thump. The ground shook, and Emily stumbled back. "What was that?" she shouted as the alley erupted into pandemonium. The figure collided with the ground, cloaked in darkness. From the shadows, a flash of metal emerged. A gun. "No!" the officer shouted, moving forward, but too late. A shot rang out, piercing through everything. Time slowed as Emily's heart dropped. She turned, eyes wide in horror, as the man fell, blood spreading across the pavement, the little girl screaming. "Daddy!" she cried, breaking free from his grip and rushing to him. And Emily felt her insides twist painfully. "Emma, get her!" Emily shouted, rushing forward to grab the girl. But their mother shot out a hand, fear commanding her gaze. "No! Get back!" "What?" Emily stumbled, disbelief flooding her veins. Why? In the whirl of the tragedy, everything cascaded into chaos. The older woman shouted, "This is not good! They'll come for all of you!" "Who will come?" Emily's voice hitched as she turned to her parents, their faces pale and drawn. "What's happening?" Then, as if to answer, another figure entered the alley, a massive silhouette darkening their paths. But it wasn't just anyone. It was someone familiar. Emily gasped as recognition crashed over her. "You?" She stepped back, horror spreading like wildfire. "What are you doing here?" But the truth was more than anything she could have imagined. As the figure stepped into the light, one word shattered everything. "I'm your father!" His voice was low, a depth of power that echoed in her bones. "No!" It was a scream, a howl of disbelief. It ripped through her chest and out into the night. "You were dead!" The street seemed to freeze, suspended in shock. Emma stood frozen, hands shaking. The girl clung to her father's side, oblivious to the collision of worlds. "Why?" Emily clenched her fists, her mind spinning. "Why not tell us?" But the man was not the same. His eyes were cold, mask-like. "Because your mother took you and ran. She didn't want you to find out who I really was." The air crackled with electrified tension, the truth blaring like a siren. Emily felt her world tilt once more, every hope crumbling, every love uncertain. "Mom?" Emma peered up, her voice tremulous and small. "Is that true?" And from the crowd, gasps erupted, the murmurs swirling around them like a fever. Emily's heart raced, questions spiraling faster than she could process. As she tried to wrap her head around the implications, deep down, she felt a cold certainty. Everything she thought she knew was teetering on the brink of collapse. Was their family really built on lies? Would they ever escape the shadows closing in on them? And with her heart pounding in tandem with the chaos, a single thought welled inside her. Was anyone truly safe now? Emily's heart raced as everything collapsed around her. The revelation of their true family was too much to bear. She felt the weight of every secret dragging her deeper into confusion and fear. Emma's small frame trembled beside her. Their world spun. What were they supposed to believe now? "Stop!" their mother shouted, stepping forward with fierce determination. "We can't let this continue!" "Mom, please!" Emily felt tears pricking her eyes. She longed for answers, for the truth that seemed to slip away with every revelation. What has been done to us? But the man, their father, stayed silent, his eyes narrow with defiance. The little girl clutched him, trusting and innocent. The tension thickened, suffocating the air around them as sirens wailed louder in the distance. "Your sisters! They don't belong here!" he shouted, voice booming. A statement filled with both anger and desperation. "We can leave this nightmare behind. I can protect us." "Protect?" Emily repeated, voice trembling. "You put us in danger. All this time, you let us believe in a lie." The crowd murmured. Eyes darted. Questions buzzed in the air. The weight of their past pressed down. Their future felt uncertain. "Don't listen to him," their mother cried, reaching for Emma. "We are your family, not him." The little girl's gaze shifted between the adults, confusion painted on her face. "But who do I choose?" "Choose?" Emily squeezed her sister's hand tightly, feeling the familiar spark of love that had always been there through every secret. "We will always choose each other." Emma nodded, determination radiating from her, eyes glistening. "You're my sister." In that moment, the noisy chaos faded. For once, clarity pierced through the storm clouds. Emily stepped forward, her voice steady. "You don't get to take her from us. Not again. She needs to stay here." "How can you be so naive?" the man spat, the intensity of his gaze slicing through her. "You don't see the danger." "Danger?" Emily shot back, anger pushing her forward. "The only danger is in keeping secrets. Day after day, we lived in a world veiled in lies, and we will break free." Silence enveloped them, thick and heavy. Then, from behind, the officer stepped forward, taking charge. "I won't let you take her," he said firmly. "We'll create a safe place for the girls, away from all of this." The crowd began to murmur again, the tide shifting. Whispers of hope mingled with fear. "Stay back!" Emily's father shouted as another figure broke through the crowd. Another person they never expected. "What are you doing here?" "Trying to fix this mess," the newcomer roared, face set with purpose. "We can't let you tear this family apart. You have a chance to make this right." And right there, under the weight of everything, Emily felt an unexpected burst of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could salvage the wreckage of their lives. As chaos swirled around them, she turned to Emma. "We stand together, no matter what family means." Just then, a small voice came from the girl. "What's my name?" Silence fell again. Everyone turned, disbelief etched onto their faces. "I'll find out," Emily vowed, stepping toward their future. The sisters they never knew they needed. But as hope sparked in their hearts, the sirens drew closer, the shadows looming larger. And as fear clashed with hope, a question lingered. What future awaited them in a world that had tried to tear them apart? Now, dear friends, this is your moment to join us on this incredible journey. You must subscribe now to the channel to stay tuned for the next exclusive stories that unravel more mysteries. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories. We want to hear from every single one of you. And don't wait 1 second longer to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to know this ending. support the channel, and be part of our